Isn't like so the chaos thing?
I think you were on God, like the I am energy, that whole situation, and then chaos.
Yeah, I was just gonna say an observation. I think this is apart from that. It's just that chaos. I feel like is born from that whole like the counterculture of like shoulda, coulda, woulda kind of thing. You know, like these people have um, I guess, for all intents and purposes, lived out their prime or their best life or part of their life already, and it never amounted to what they wanted. So like, they're just like, well, f the world for f the world's sake. Just because if I couldn't have it, which is like stability, happiness, whatever, then nobody can. So fuck the state of the world. Like,
Well, then chaos math wouldn't exist. Chaos magic wouldn't exist, right? Like things that use the word chaos that people do use, like systems, okay, wouldn't exist if it's somebody not living out their best life and being mad. Now, in the context that you're using it, I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe. There's some people that don't have any reason other than they like to sow chaos. They enjoy it. They like it, right? So I don't know how I feel about it in the personal context, but like I don't think chaos math exists because, a mathematician somewhere didn't get to live out his best dreams in leather.
well, wouldn't the chaos math have to, wouldn't the chaos have to be have a pattern for it to be mathematical or like some sort of like rules?
Yes.
And part of chaos is that it doesn't have rules.
Well, chaos does have rules. This is the thing about the reason why I said that we as humans have came up with the word chaos because we don't see the pattern. The
Oh,
probability
okay.
the probability is so vast that it's hard to see the pattern. So we say it's chaos, but it's not. It's like the ripples in the water in the ocean. If you've ever seen the ocean ripple, we would say that none of those ripples would ever repeat itself. But it's only because you can't see it because the
Well,
number is so vast.
let me
So
just
if you can't
state
see it or understand it, then oh my
let me
bad.
state this fact real quick because chaos is a state of utter confusion, utter disorder. It's confusion on steroids. That's chaos.
Yes.
Right. So if this is something outside of our perception or our ability to comprehend on the pattern, like so the human's intelligence is based or drawn or derived from its ability to recognize patterns, right? So being unable to recognize the patterns in chaos means that we're unable to like get an intelligence about it, right? Or around it. Is that what that would mean? Or
I don't think that, I think you can gauge an intelligence from chaos, most definitely. There's a lot of
okay,
lessons to be learned from chaos.
It's just like if you went into a panel and it seemed like there was chaos, which everybody in the panel, right, is yelling at the same time. I think it's chaotic, right? Because like you can't. It's very hard to understand what anyone is saying. But if you were able to single out each particular individual's statements, then would there be chaos?
I don't. So you're saying if you were able to?
Yes, like say for example, if we had a recording of our conversation, and everybody on the panel, let's say we had a full panel, everybody's just lighting up. It would be very hard to hear what anyone is saying. But if you had a recording and you could single out each individual statement, then you could understand what they were saying. So is it really chaotic?
Okay, so it's a recorded audio of a chaotic situation, but then you're singling out single elements in order to like decipher the information within the chaos.
Yes.
um,
There's something about that, isn't it?
there's something I'm trying to understand. It's like I'm trying to
Why are you
You know
being
what I'm
so
saying? Like I'm trying
confused
to
all of
form
a
this.
sudden, Jetpack? Why are you so confused? Is this perhaps an area in which you don't want to provide clarity? Because I notice that happens from
No,
time to time.
I, I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's just like,
Because if you claim to be from the streets, right, and have that whole background, then you know there's plenty of chaos in the streets. It should be
yeah, but it
something
doesn't
that
feel
you
like
pay
chaos.
attention
Doesn't look
to.
like chaos. It makes
It's
sense to
simple.
me.
Hold on, you can't be cutting people off when they're speaking
Oh, sorry.
because the chaos is evident. You know what I'm saying? Especially in such environments. So I'm kind of, trying to gauge why you're confused on speaking upon it, or is it something that you just don't want to speak on, perhaps?
I don't think it's chaotic in the street. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's actually like really, there's like rules and they just make sense to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's very cut and dry.
Well, I don't know what streets you come from, but the streets that I'm in is quite chaotic. It's quite chaotic. There's chaos and there's peace. There's clarity. There's all things within
Maybe I
the
find
street.
peace in like the chaos.
Don't listen. Maybe you do. You gotta tell me. Okay.
There's something about it.
But I just find it interesting that, certain layers, like people can be very free with information in regards to certain things, and then some things, it's not because they get stomped on, stomped or anything like that. It's because it hits home, if you will. So let's look at a couple different definitions that exist in regards to chaos: unpredictable and irregular patterns of behavior that occur in systems that are actually governed by simple and exact laws. Ugh, I don't like that one. Utter disorder and confusion, that's how I know it to be. And supposed unformed original state of the universe. Hey, that's interesting. Supposed unformed original state of the universe. Now that's new for me.
Just when you get a chance, will you do me a favor? Because the second definition triggered a word in my head, and when you get a chance, not taking away from the topic at hand, can you
Mm.
look up the word pandemonium?
Oh
Because the
yeah.
second definition gave me pandemonium vibes.
Okay.
The first definition, second definition, I thought, well, that's pandemonium. I don't know. Pandemonium to me is one up from chaos.
Yes, and chaos is one up from confusion. So let's get it. We'll figure it out. Oh, now this is
Isn't
interesting.
pandemonium like sound and the chaos is like more over encompassing?
Well, it says wild and noisy. Wild and noisy, disorder or confusion, uproar.
Yes, they
Yeah.
all seem to work hand in hand. Chaos, confusion, pandemonium.
Well, wait, it goes confusion first, chaos second, and then pure pandemonium. I wanted to say it like that.
Isn't isn't confusion like an element of chaos though?
Yes, and then you have pandemonium, right? Which is a
Right.
more is this element of chaos.
So chaos is like the umbrella, and then these other things are like little
It's kind of like what
aspects of it.
you weren't here for the conversation the other day, but we were talking about pain, and it was something where I was in the chat. I wasn't even up on the panel, and they were discussing pain. It was a conversation between Prest and Sun, and the conversation was interesting indeed. But they were talking about what I summarized from what they were discussing was uh, there's different what's it called it's like you could cut your finger, have a paper cut, and you can experience that pain, and then you can break your finger. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? The intense, I guess,
Right.
intensity,
Almost
Like
rather
pain
break
tolerance,
my
or do you
break
mean
my friggin' no, she means just in general.
because
The
it's still
same
pain.
like a
But
yes.
there's
the
varying degrees of pain?
the intensity of it can differ.
Well,
So that's what I think of when we talk about confusion, chaos, and pandemonium. It's intensity that's involved. Radiation.
Pandemonium, though, can be perceived to be a good thing.
Oh, really? Pandemonium a good thing?
Yes, it can be.
Well, hold the hell
What?
on. Hold on, because I gotta do something here. Because pandemonium, as the capital of hell, is known in the epic poem. What is this called?
Paradise Lost.
Demonium, evil spirit. That's interesting that you say that, and I come across this here. Um, I'm gonna look at this reference here. Let's see here, because I want to know who is a good thing. Because they say, like for instance, who is the god of pandemonium? Pandemonium, god of strife, was the lord of meddling, antagonizing, and trickery. I don't know, Chad. I don't agree with you here, brother.
Well, I wouldn't. I wasn't saying that I perceive it to be a good thing. I said that it can be perceived. And in the media, when they talk about pandemonium, it's usually used in a reference for something that's exciting and good.
When have you
Isn't that
ever
like a media
heard them
circus?
be like, come on down and buy a new car? It's pure pandemonium down here. No, pandemonium, like never. The next step up from pandemonium is bedlam. And if anybody's using pandemonium or bedlam, I want nothing to do with it. I don't want the weather report with pandemonium, and I don't want to use car with pandemonium. Stop it.
Well, it's usually used when I've seen
You
it.
want a concert with pandemonium?
Yes, the concert has some pandemonium. The show was
Yeah, you do want
pandemonium.
that.
So it's used. People use it as a good reference usually. Confusion and what's the other one that you had? I can't remember. Confusion, pandemonium.
Bedlam.
Which one? No, not that one. Yo was saying a moment ago.
Chaos.
Chaos, yes, chaos and confusion are usually looked at as a negative thing. But pandemonium is often used in a positive light.
Not one time have I heard it used in a positive light unless they're referencing a three-ring circus or gravedigger causing pandemonium for monster trucks. Again, all negative contexts.
Well, I mean, if I like monster, I don't know. I feel like anything could be any like spin on it, you know, depending on who's looking at it.
Okay, if you were looking at a concert and you're saying there's so much confusion here, but if you said pandemonium, this look at all the pandemonium. It sounds it just has a better ring to it, and they
Well,
use it in a
I
positive
still know
light.
the definition of pandemonium, though, so I'm
Well,
not going to
you
look at it and be
know.
like, oh, it's a good thing. Yeah, let me
Well,
hop on down to the pandemonium.
Third, it's wild and noisy, right? Wild and
well, yes.
noisy. Disorder or confusion, uproar. A wild uproar, as because of anger or excitement in a crowd of people.